You know that ringing in your ears? That ee? That's the sound of the ear cells dying, like their swan song. Once it's gone, you'll never hear that frequency again. Enjoy it while it lasts.
All clear. The upper school drill is over. Returning to normal activities.
I think it says be up close to that mic.
Oh dear God! I kind of want to be a little dark.
Fucking. Can you repeat the question?
Wow, good question.
Now you got me kind of nervous.
Well, don't look at it. Don't think about it. You're thinking about it.
Am I allowed to swear in this?
Yeah.
Okay, and
I
then
think you're oddly qualified to answer some of this.
Are they zingers?
Is this too close? Is
Nope,
this good?
that's perfect.
All right.
No hurry, please. There's no hurry. So here we are back again, me and Joel. Joel's over there on the couch, checking his phone. So anyways, I don't know what I can get and can't get away with in terms of putting music up, but this episode is about funeral songs. I asked people, like a lot of the same people you heard talk before, about what song they would want to play at their funeral, right? Like what song you want to leave this world and have, people forever associate that song with you being dead forever. And I don't know if I can play the music or not, but I'm going to put some snippets in, and I'm going to try and slow down the time on it to see if maybe that'll get around the algorithms or something. I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. But anyways, Joel's over there tapping on his watch like, let's wrap this up. All right, so funeral songs. Hit it, Joel. Sorry, we went over time, but
No, I don't care. I love talking like that.
I got one more question for you.
Yeah. If God exists, what would you like him to say at the pearly gates? No, just kidding.
No, actually, we're not far off, though. It's your funeral. You didn't pull through. Life caught up with you.
Yes.
One song. What do you want him to play at your funeral?
Ooh. If you listen to Bob Dylan's version of Forever Young off of Planet Waves, it's like the track 4 or 5. It's the first one. I think there's 2 of them by each other, but it's the Forever Young. And I said, that's what I would, that's more than a reflection of everybody. Hey, remember this about me. I thought it'd be better at my funeral to send a message to my kids and tell them, hey, if I didn't make myself clear, do this, or this is what I want for you guys,
Build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young. Forever
Oh man, that's a good question. I guess is this like this is like the coffins going up the aisle?
Yeah,
on the way out the door.
Everyone's all sad as shit.
Yeah, Thin Lizzy would be pretty good. The Boys Are Back in Town doesn't work because it's the inverse. Boys are leaving town. I guess that, or There Is a Light That Never Goes Out by the Smiths is just one of my favoriteest songs of all time. Johnny Marr is my biggest guitar influence, so that would be one of those two.
Driving in your car, I never want to go home because I haven't got one anymore. Take me out tonight.
It's My Morning Song by the Black Crowes. It's not I wanted to go I don't know if you're familiar with the song at all, but it's a rocker. But it's very jubilant, It's very uplifting. It's very uplifting. And anybody that has spent any amount of time with me knows how important that record is to me and all that. And so at my funeral, I wanted it to be like I didn't want it to be somber. I didn't want it to be, let's play the saddest song I can think of. But there'd be a shit ton of music. Let's not kid ourselves. There'd be a shit ton of music at my funeral, okay? It's gonna be like a mixtape, in between people telling me how great I was, But the last song of the funeral would be my morning song by the Black Crowes off of Southern Harmony, a musical companion, because it fills your soul with goodness.
Oh wow. Something weird. Maybe Planet Caravan by Black Sabbath. I love that song. When I was growing up, I always liked music, but one of my best friends, his older brother, had like the most kick-ass CD collection, and he would just let me borrow them like he was a library. And I remember one night just going to bed and using a Discman to definitely put a stamp on my age. I put Paranoid on it in my headphones, and obviously it's like the greatest record ever made. But when Planet Caravan came on, this like fucking outer space, like quiet, mellow song, I was just like, this is the best music I've ever heard. So it definitely captures the vibe that I've always loved. And the older I get, the more I think I'm very aware that we may not be the only being out there in this universe that is this smart and intelligent. I become aware at how small we are, and that song just sounds like really mellow vibe space travel stuff. So if there was one song to maybe play at my funeral, I know it'd be a weird one, but I would definitely be happy to hear that was the one that was played.
Oh, easy. Sleep by Eric Whitacre. Oh my God. So Eric Whitacre, I'll put it in here. By Eric Whitacre. Eric Whitacre is sort of, he's like the composer right now. He's a choral composer. He's also done some band and orchestral things, but he wrote this song called Sleep. And it was a commissioned piece that came out probably 20 years ago. And it was commissioned by a family who had lost both of their parents in a car wreck. And it was originally, the song went to Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost, but he couldn't get it published because he didn't get the copyrights for the poem. So if you actually follow along, he had a poet friend of his change the lyrics to continue to use the miles to go before I sleep phrase of that poem. He wanted to keep the sleep as a metaphor for death. And so his poet friend rewrote the entire poetic structure or poem based on that poetic structure to keep that sleep theme in mind. And there's just this big, like, the 12-year-old boy inside of me just, I can't use the word climax without giggling, but like, there's that musical climax in the middle of the song. I wish there'd be a better word for it, but it just is. And it's this, Eric Whitacre uses dissonance so perfectly. And it gets so dissonant and so like anxiety ridden, and then all of a sudden it resolves. And it's just like brings me to tears every time. But just that sleep metaphor for death, and then the whole rest of the song just says, as I surrender unto sleep. And like for 2 minutes of the song, that's all they talk about. And then the song slowly fades into all they're saying is sleep. And then the song just like, they go pianissimo as possible, and then they're just done. And it's like such a powerful song, dude. So when I go,
probably have to be, I'm just throwing this out there, I haven't even given it much thought, but love the band, always have. How about like All Apologies by Nirvana?
What else should I be? All apologies. What else could I say? Everyone is gay.
This is a funny question because I always joke about this. And I don't know if I should say my joke answer.
I think you should say your joke answer and your real answer.
I always joke about this, and I always say that I really want Amazing Grace at my funeral. Because my name's Grace.
I got it. I got it immediately. Yeah.
And I would think that would be funny. I just think it would be funny. So, and I would want everyone to take that song out of context and think that they're singing about me. So, I think that is my final answer, even though it's my joke answer.
All right, fair enough. And it's a beautiful song, right? Like, you don't have to be religious to identify. You know, it's a very beautiful song.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
I mean, there's a lot of things I think that would dictate that, but I think Long December would be a pretty good one. I want something that has an outro where everybody can just be drunk in an Irish pub and yelling along the gibberish at the end of the song. So it'd have to be something like Long December or Let It Be or something of that nature.
Oh, that's awesome. Sarah, my wife Sarah has an aunt who, she was like the young hip aunt, and unfortunately she passed, and she, just a bad genetic card and she died young. This was last year, but at her funeral, they played. I'm going to try not to cry when I talk about this because it was one of the coolest moments.
You can cry too. That's okay, man. Yeah. I mean, that's.
Well, she was like, they were like this older but younger people. Their minds were young, and they'd go to shows all the time. They saw it every Mule show. They were there,
No, I like to say those people kept their youthfulness.
Yes,
that's what they did. They fenced in the youthfulness and they watered that lawn every day. Yep.
Yes, they did. And but All You Need Is Love. And then her widow, right when it kicked into the All You Need Is Love party, like turned around, her widower rather, stood up and just lifted his hands up in the air, and like the whole place just exploded in this sing-along. God, I just got goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And it was cathartic.
All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need.
Oh, you know? I gotta think. Like, do I go sad? Like, do I go really sad? Do I go really stupid? Do I go really triumphant? Let's look at it that way. I would go Freebird if I was going to be stupid, like that would be, and maybe repeat it a number of times. Put this into my will to be like, Freebird needs to be on repeat for a number of times. Maybe the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Just because it's such... that's on my top 5 list of least favorite songs. So, no, I don't know. It's hard to think about what would be a good one. Probably something funny and stupid, just because, I'm not like a super like, and everybody's gonna be weeping and shit. Have you ever put that together for like a relation of yours, where you had to like pick some songs?
Yes, I've done it many times. I'm the go-to guy. I've written and I've edited and produced more funeral videos than I care to say, because I know how to edit video and put audio together. So I've done a bunch of them.
I did it for my grandma, and my grandma was a musician. She played bass, and she was like, and we have like tons of recordings of her playing. She played for years. My whole family has, a lot of my family played, but she was like one that always played. So like when we put together her thing, it was like a couple of her songs, which were instant weeping, because it's grandma's voice, they're these old country western tunes, and then like Angel Flies Too Close to the Sun, and like just the worst. I mean, like, oh, you hear it, just like, oh, grandma, I miss you too. So I kind of feel like maybe I should have something like that would anger somebody or like make somebody laugh, so they weren't like, no, we miss you, Nate P. Oh,
It's Joel's answer to this question was Unskinny Bop. Or it was that, or Girls.
Hey, both decent songs.
Those are, and that's the thing. He's like, first off, those are both. He said something along the lines of, first off, I will defend both of those songs. And secondly, how fucked up would that be? Nobody sees it coming, right? It's the end of the funeral, and here comes fucking Motley Crue. They told him he's got to get first off, you can't be cremated if you're going to do that kind of funeral. You're going to need like some flames going, Metallica concert style, while your casket is being descended. So you got to think.
What did Heavy Jeff Metal say?
Maybe definitely something by Sabbath. Probably Hole in the Sky.
The first thing that pops into my head is Leonard Cohen, Waiting for the Miracle. But I had a whole set written. You know how like on Facebook and shit, people give you those questionnaires, and it was like the first 10 songs that pop up, or you're rolling the credits or whatever, and answers to questions. Oh my god, it was fucking crazy when I did that one time. But yeah, the first thing that pops up, we gotta say Leonard. Just looking for like Kurt Cobain saying, give me a Leonard Cohen afterworld.
Invitation. I know you sent me some, but I was waiting for the miracle to come.
I've been asked this before, And the one that came to mind was Albatross by Corrosion of Conformity, which is just a metal fucking banger of a song. But dude, that's a tough one. I mean, probably one of my favorite songs of all time is Over the Hills and Far Away by Led Zeppelin. Every time I hear that, it's such a perfect song. So I'd probably have to go with that one. I don't even know what the lyrical content really means or anything. Those guys were high as fuck when they wrote it, I'm sure. But yeah, every time I hear that song, there's no way I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn it as loud as I fucking can and rock out to it.
Your funeral, man. I hate to spoiler alert, but someday you are going to die. I hate to break it to you. I know. I've looked into this. There's no way around it. I tried to Google, can I become a vampire? Didn't get anywhere with that. What song do you want played at your funeral?
Ooh. It's funny because I think there's actually people who like have thought of this in advance.
Dude, I think about this all the time.
So let's go you're road tripping, you're gonna go somewhere, pre iPhone, pre iPod. I was the guy that's standing at the CD rack for 2 hours deciding what CDs to bring in the car on the road trip. Like, I can't make up my mind when it comes to music because there are different moods. I don't know what mood I'm gonna be in 2 hours from now on the highway. I think one, if I have to go on the spot, one of the songs I return to often, there's a band called Jets to Brazil. It's the Blake Schwarzenbach from Jawbreaker's band after Jawbreaker. And they have a song on their first album called Sweet Avenue that I always return to. It's just an amazing song. So I don't know if it's funeral appropriate, but that's just one of those songs that always kind of comes back to me all the time. One of my favorites.
Well, you got somebody brought up The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy as an answer to that question. I don't even know what that means.
Like they handed me my life for the first time, it felt right.
Well, the choir, it's a men's choir in the town that my family's from in Croatia on the island of Hvar. They actually have recorded albums and so on, and they've toured and they've been to the States and so on. And they perform a very traditional kind of music from that region, and they performed at my mother's wedding, and it was just my mother's funeral, and it was just sublime. And they also performed at my father's funeral, which unfortunately I couldn't attend because of green card issues. But apparently, so they when they toured North America, they stayed in Toronto with my dad. Set them up somehow, I don't remember where, and they had like the last day of their stay in Toronto, they had a party in a church, basement type of thing. And, they're drinking a lot of wine. And my father says, I hope you guys will, sing at my funeral. And they said, of course. Yeah. And they said, but you know what? The problem is that if you sing at my funeral, I won't be able to hear it because I'll be dead. Right. So he said, So my father apparently, and I didn't learn this until 2 years ago at my mother's funeral. My father apparently said, "Okay, I'm going to lie down. I'm going to pretend to be dead on this table, and you guys are going to sing my funeral music." And they did, and they did, and it was apparently quite a fun time they had. And he actually got to experience his own funeral music. So that's what I hope. I would hope that I would have this group of male singers sing at my funeral. But I also hope that I would be able to experience what that would be like before I actually died, after a night of drinking wine.
The group, they get close to that.
I have no idea. Girls, cherry pie. I mean, any of those hits from back in the day.
I would be so happy to be at that funeral. Girls. Yep. There's some old lady who's like 70 just crying. And she's like, what is happening? Trolling your own funeral. All right. Dispatches from the Apocalypse, episode 9. What we learn, Joel? Yep, I agree. We're going to keep that one between us. This is one of the most ridiculous songs ever written, but damn, it's kind of fun, right? Anyways, since this is my podcast, I get to, and Joel already told us what he thought, so I get to tell you my favorite song of all time, Perpetuum Mobile from Penguin Cafe Orchestra, featured in the film Mary and Max, which I consider a stone cold masterpiece. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life. No. This is the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life. I think everything you need to know about life is right here in these notes. So we'll be back. Dispatches from the Apocalypse. We're going to get the fuck out of here. Peace.